Hello everyone, this is Crystal Racing here with the report of the 2019 German Grand Prix, and if you haven't watched the race today, I'm sorry to say it was yet another Mercedes 1-2. Absolute bore-faced. Lewis Hamilton was bleating his arse off about best fans in the world and all that. No, what am I kidding? That has to be actually one of the greatest races I've ever seen in my 20 years of watching this sport. It's right up there with the 2005 Japanese Grand Prix and the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix. Absolute action from start to finish. And let me start off with the race winner today. Max Verstappen did not make a single mistake apart from a little moment when he tried to overtake Bottas into the hairpin, but other than that, 10 out of 10. His second win of the season, Red Bull's second win of the season, and Honda's second win since their comeback to Formula 1 back in 2015 under the hybrid regulations. And I can tell you right now, there's a certain Spaniard out there who is feeling a bit sheepish, and I really do hope he feels quite sheepish with the abuse he's given Honda, because Red Bull and Honda look like such a potent package right now. Second place was Sebastian Vettel, another 10 out of 10. Man, he was so down and out yesterday. His Ferrari power unit failed at the start of qualifying. And to be honest, you know, the way his form has been, he just sat there for, wow, he's got such a steep hill to climb. But today, in the mixed conditions, he pulled out all the stops. Yes, he did spend a lot of time stuck behind Kimi Raikkonen, but when the track dried out, he got on the slick tyres at the right moment and absolutely pushed the pedal to the metal and got P2. Yes, I know his passes on Stroll and Kvyat were DRS assisted, but today he got the shot in the arm he needed, and I'm so happy for him because, you know, everyone's been going on about, oh, he's so washed and all that. Today's performance, he proved so many doubters wrong, and I really did enjoy that moment when he went wheel to wheel with Kimi halfway through the race. You know, the fact they're not teammates anymore meant there were no team orders involved in that piece of racing. P3 was Danny Kvyat. His first podium since the 2016 Chinese Grand Prix, and Toro Rosso's first podium since that 2008 Italian Grand Prix victory with Sebastian Vettel. Kvyat did not put a foot wrong. He was behind Alex Albon for most of the race, but today Kvyat kept his head and he proved to the Red Bull bosses, including Helmut Marko, that he should be in that Red Bull second seat instead of Gasly. But will Helmut Marko swallow his pride over Danny Kvyat? I'm not so sure. But of course, in other news, he did become a dad last night when his partner Kenny Piquet gave birth to their first child. Congratulations. P4 was Lance Stroll. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, how did he get there? But, well, he got there because his Racing Point pit crew put him on slick tyres at the right moment, pushing him right up the order whilst everyone was pinging for their tyres. And whilst he was P2 at one point to finish P4, what a magnificent result, 10 out of 10. And I've got to say, you know, it's a complete opposite of what his teammate did today. I've been taking a rip out of Lance for his performances this season, and well, pretty much his 3 years in Formula 1 so far, but he proved me wrong today. P5 was Carlos Sainz. I think he can be a bit disappointed, to be honest. I think, considering how quick that McLaren has been this season, could have got a podium, but no, he didn't. He had a few moments when he went off the track, and then he had to go for a pit stop unscheduled, so it's only going to be 9 out of 10. P6 was Alex Albon with his best result of his 11 race hold Formula 1 career. The Thai driver did a brilliant race for Toro Rosso today. He was at P4 at one point, but I mean, he did kind of fall back when the track started drying out. Kind of unfortunate, but these things happen. He'll learn from it. And then, of course, P7 was Kimi Raikkonen, although, of course, this result is provisional because Alfa Romeo are under investigation for their start line procedure, where apparently they infringed a certain regulation which states that a driver cannot push his car to the grid on their own power. They have to be pushed to the grid through the team members. Kimi was P3 on the first few laps before, of course, he inevitably dropped back, fell behind Max, and then fell behind Hulkenberg, and then eventually but as the race went on, the pit strategy was pretty poor from Alfa, I have to say, but, it is provisionally 10 points as it stands. P8 was Giovinazzi, Kimi's teammate, 9 out of 10 for him. Very tentative, I have to say, for most of that race. He kind of waited for everyone to fall out of contention, did what he had to do, but I do kind of wonder, does he regret not being more aggressive throughout the race? And of course, as it stands, he could lose these 4 points, which would be quite sad, but that's the way it goes. And then P9 was Romeo Grosjean, scoring, of course, with his best result of the season, which is not really saying much for Romeo Grosjean, but he did do a good job in the circumstances, considering the Haas has been struggling all season, if I'm going to be honest. He did qualify P6 alongside Kimi Raikkonen, who qualified P5, but Grosjean did find himself getting caught by Magnussen towards the end of the race, and they did do a bit of wheel banging. But having said that, I've got to give Grosjean 10 out of 10. And of course, the last point scorer provisionally is Kevin Magnussen. He was running P2 when everyone went in for intermediate tyres, but of course, as his wet weather tyres wore on, he slipped back and inevitably he fell down to P17. But of course, he did an okay job to make a few places up as the other cars fell out of contention. I've got to give him 9 out of 10 for taking risks today, but I have to say his pace was a bit iffy towards the end. And then, of course, in P11, who might be in the points if the Alphas get disqualified, and of course, Lewis Hamilton himself has got another investigation over his head, which could drop him out of any point scoring chances altogether. What a terrible race Lewis Hamilton had today. The Mercedes pit crew were all decked out in Leverkusen. They were all in party mode. They thought they were going to stroke their way to a 1-2 finish, and their cars finished 11th and the other one crashed out. Absolutely embarrassing in front of their home fans. And of course the Stuttgart headquarters, just embarrassing. Lewis Hamilton, the moment he went off the road and then went and broke his front wing, literally wrecked his race. Yes, it was a miracle that he somehow came out in P5 after a 50-second pit stop, but then he went and spun again. So really, just an absolute day of horror. Yes, he dominated the first half of the race, but what an uncharacteristic error. Just laughable. I was absolutely stunned when I saw it. P12 and potentially a point scorer, Robert Kubica with what did he do today? I know both him and Russell stayed out during the first safety car, but really, why on earth were Williams putting both of their cars on the same strategy? They could have split their cars, but of course, as it was, they decided to both gamble them to continue on the wets, and they fell back in them eventually. But as it stands, I'm going to give Robert Kubica an 8 out of 10, and his teammate George Russell, who crossed the line in P13, 7 out of 10. And then, of course, 14th and the last of the classified runners was Pierre Gasly, who crashed out with 3 laps to go. 3 out of 10. Just what a stupid mistake that was, whacking into the back of Alex Albon. Just laughable. After that great performance at Britain 2 weeks ago, he's gone back to square one again. And frankly, how on earth can he? I know Red Bull would rather keep him in that seat because Helmut Marko doesn't want to swallow his pride over Danny Kvyat, and of course Alex Albon is still too inexperienced, but that was not acceptable by Pierre Gasly. He spent so much on the race literally going in and out of the top 10, whilst his teammate Max was fighting for the race win. I mean, just not good enough, mate. Just not good enough. I know once in the wet conditions did kind of completely exaggerated Pierre Gasly's struggles with the car, but can Red Bull really afford to have a driver doing that badly when, you know, Ferrari have been dropping points recently? I don't think so. And the fact is, P2 could be there for Red Bull this season. It is a realistic possibility considering how badly Ferrari have done this season. And then, of course, we're on to the retirees, starting with Valtteri Bottas. I mean, the moment when I saw him crash was, he was in P2, P3 or whatever it was. No, he wasn't in P3. He wasn't in a podium place. He was in P4. My goodness me, what a disastrous race he had. I mean, he should have been out there trying to win the race after Hamilton's incident, but he fell back for some reason. Absolutely strange. I don't know what happened to him. And then he went out and crashed out at, I think, was it turn 16? Or it could have been the first corner, actually. But my God, what a complete missed opportunity to cut Lewis Hamilton's championship lead, which means that Lewis Hamilton is still about 40 points in front of Valtteri Bottas, and I really do hope Mercedes get rid of Valtteri Bottas at the end of the season, because he just isn't good enough. And let's be honest, Mercedes are probably going to win this year's championship, and they'll probably be dominating next year's championship, and the only way they can entertain us is to put a good second driver in that other seat, which is probably going to be Esteban Ocon or George Russell. The second of the retirees, Nico Hülkenberg. Oh no. He was running in P3 for so long, and then he went and blew it at the turn 60 drag strip. My heart sank when I saw that. 5 out of 10. He drove a great race right up into that point, but I have to say, we are never going to see Nico Hülkenberg stand on a podium in F1. He is almost certainly now going to end up with the most career starts without podium, and probably the most career points without podium as well. Nico Hülkenberg is going to go down in history as a complete nearly man in almost in the full sense of that phrase. Third of the retirements, Charles Leclerc. Oh yeah, Charles Leclerc also crashed out of the drag strip, but in a rather pathetic manner. He went and moaned about how the grip around the drag strip was too low, so he couldn't save the car. Sure, mate, you shouldn't have got. You put a wheel on the curb, mate. That's not good enough, mate. There's no point coming out with excuses like that. Considering you were a contender to win today, I've got to give you 5 out of 10, but you blew a chance at winning today. Lando Norris also retired. He retired with power unit issues. I'll give him 7 out of 10. He did all right. I don't think he was 7, 6. I'll give him 6 out of 10. Was he really a contender for points today? Maybe, but to be honest, he wasn't that good. He was struggling an awful lot today. I mean, I think it was a newly fitted power unit as well. So yeah, that's a double L there for Lando Norris, who had to start the back because of his power unit change. Daniel Ricciardo, another retiree, and of course he blew his power unit up on the straight, and even though the edge was still blowing, he still kept going and completely, and it was like 4 or 5 drivers who couldn't see where they were going. Really poor driving etiquette there by Daniel Ricciardo, and I've got to give him 3 out of 10, just really not professional. And last but not least, the guy who crashed to the first or second lap in full green conditions was Sergio Perez, who gets 2 out of 10 for me. Yes, I know it was a driving mistake, but he completely blew a big chance of scoring a lot of points today for racing points, especially when you consider Lance Stroll finished P4. Not good enough, Sergio, and I've got to say, I'm going to give you the rejects of the day, because that performance was... Oh, you blew it very early on, whilst a lot of other drivers kept their heads. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Crystal Racing, and I'll see you again next time.